Um, would you trade Cam Scatterbo for Chris Olave
Um,
if you just lost CeeDee Lamb?
Kind of. No, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't fucking know, dude. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. I feel like the answer is yes. It's just that's a really close one
Yeah.
because the future looks very bright for Cam.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't argue with the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
With
Olave literally has 13, 10, and 14 targets.
Yeah,
And
he's
like,
got to be leading the league.
yeah, which is like it's not going well because that team sucks.
I took a lease out on your heart. I took a lease out on your heart. Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun?
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Pretty good,
Good.
settling into fantasy. Fantasy is pain. Slow starts, but I'm enjoying football, so that's
Nice.
what I'm here for. How are
Yeah,
you doing, Christian?
doing all right. I went to the Packers Browns game, so that was disappointing, but I am at 10 stadiums now, so a third of the way through
Ooh,
my goal of
damn.
seeing a game in every stadium. So that is, cool. Checked it off the list. Cleveland was cool. The people were nice. More shit talking from the fans than any stadium I've been to, which I thought was interesting. From
Should
the
go to
Browns fans.
Philadelphia.
Well, yeah, I haven't been to Philly yet, but pretty crazy, but overall nice. I partied with some people that I didn't know on Saturday night, so had a good time. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to continue our kind of early season strategy or podcast setup of kind of rolling through the our thoughts about the rookies specifically, some questions we have, some disappointments, some assumptions that we got wrong. So you guys, if you've been here, you know the drill already. So we will go ahead and get this started where we always do and go ahead with the rookies. So I'll start with the studs. Emeka Ibuka still looking good. He's the wide receiver 10 through t 3 weeks. Mike Evans is likely to miss a bit of time. Still no Godwin, but he did practice this week. So that could steal a little bit of Ibuka thunder when with Evans going out, but I don't think much. 21 targets through 3 games for Ibuka, 8 for 6 and 85 in week 3, and he is the highest scoring rookie through 3 weeks. So pretty crazy. Can't really ask for much more than that.
No, that's pretty impressive, man. I wonder I just can't figure out exactly what his arc is. Is it, touchdown heavy, or is this what it is?
Mhm.
Is it going to level out? But with Mike Evans and the hamstring deal, I mean, it's all arrows up for Ibuka. It's going to be intense.
Yeah, no, it should be fun. I just think eventually he'll be the number one guy there, and he'll be unquestioned. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to ride that ride. I got 2 tight ends that I'll touch on really quickly just because not much has changed other than they're still looking great. Tyler Warren's the tight end 9 through 3 weeks. Definitely getting the offense run through him. Didn't score as much this week as previous, but still like clearly an asset for Indy. And then Harold Fannin Jr. again didn't score as much this week against the Packers, but he is the tight end 12 on the year. He's a guy I'm definitely kicking myself I didn't grab. I
Mhm.
talked myself out of him in a lot of places, and I'm regretting that. 18 targets through 3 weeks for Fannin Jr.
Wow, that's crazy. I think, yeah, we all saw it coming, but with Njoku, it's like, hey,
Thought it would
you
take
know,
longer.
right? Like we knew he led college in yards and all this and that, that he was probably going to come out and be more of a wide receiver, slot style. But here we are, talking about it and missing the boat.
Yeah, didn't realize that they were going to use him in the slot. Didn't know that. I mean, I guess I should have known Kevin Stefanski can think of some stuff up like that, but missed that, and I'm sad about it. Tetaroa McMillan, he had a lower day, but he still got 8 targets, and the main thing for him is that he has 27 targets through 3 weeks, which is pretty wild for a rookie. Obviously, didn't have the production that he had in previous weeks, still has no touchdown, but it's nice to see him just as Bryce Young's true target uh, sponge, I guess.
Yeah, his volume is good. I was looking at the red zone targets, and Xavier Legette is kind of mopping up that role, which is kind of
That's
surprising for
weird.
that team.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I look for him to kind of step it up and contend. Yeah, it's a weird situation. Some of these teams have a lot more red zone targets than you would expect. Carolina and New Orleans are two of those teams, but.
Yeah.
He's obviously the go-to guy there, so I think the rest of it just to just come in time, get some scores in there.
Yeah, I think once this offense, it was kind of sad to see them put up 30 points this week and him not score. But
Yeah.
once they get going, that'll be really fun, I think. And I added a new stud this week.
Oh.
And it's Quinshon Judkins, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a score. I was really hoping to trade for him, but then, as your homage to James Conner shows, he's out, so no way that's happening now. But he looks really solid, and he's like the clear number one back there. It was obvious, and done the best against that Packers defense. I will say most of it came on like a 30, 40 yard rush. The rest of it was fairly plodding, but he was still getting it done. It's not like he was doing bad. So,
Yeah, one thing in that that surprised me was to see there was only one carry for anyone else on the Browns. Is what the box
hmm
score looked like. So
yep.
that's insane. One
hmm
carry for all the team except for Judkins, who pretty much was the go-to guy. So I guess, yeah, you missed some off-season stuff. Doesn't really slow you down if you're a
Doesn't
natural
seem,
badass. So
yeah.
incredible. We'll see how it goes.
Does not seem to. Yeah, he looks incredible so far, and he's one of the rookies getting some of the most work as well. So, I think going forward, he'll be a really huge asset in year one. The fun category. Talk real quick about Bill Krosky Merritt. He was 8 for 26 this week. Played 40% of the snaps. He salvaged his day with a touchdown. And he's but so like it seems like a feast or famine thing for him. Like he's not being hyper efficient. He was in week one, but hasn't been since and isn't out snapping people by a lot. And then my main thing for him is only 3 targets through 3 weeks, which is just not what you want to see in today's, at least most people are at least playing half point PPR.
Yeah, that's definitely disappointing. And then McNichols jumps in there and hits
Hmm.
a good one. And you got Mariota looking actually pretty sharp. He scores a rushing touchdown, and you just gotta wonder what is really solid for this team right now, what you have going forward. But I mean, it's one of those weird things where is this the off-season dialogue or is this like a real thing? And to this point, it's just very intriguing, very fun, um, but not really. I'm not certain that he's a go-to guy at all yet at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, not yet. I do think he'll get that short yardage and goal line work. So he could be useful. I just think it's going to be hard to tell when he's going to be useful.
Hmm.
Moving on, Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris went down this week, I think for the year, right?
Yeah, he's
Um,
done.
yeah, that sucks. Poor Najee, but that means likely more work coming Hampton's way. 79% snap share in week three, 19 carries for 70 yards and a touch, 3.7 yards per carry. So not exactly what you want to see, but not horrible. Big thing here for him, kind of the flip of Merritt, 7 targets, 6 catches for 59 yards. So if he can add that to his game and then kind of just keep working at it and keep developing, I think he'll be a really good asset, and he was this week.
Yeah, it was kind of I mean, I've got him in a few spots, a lot of redraft, and I've been kind of waiting for him to do something that was exciting, and it's been some tough weeks in and out.
Hmm.
So for him to get up there and put up a really respectable top five running back week this week, made me feel good going forward. Hopefully they can just lean on him. And now, like you're saying, Harris is out of the equation. So it should be all systems go for that guy.
Yeah, it should be. I think people are still not sure how to defend the Chargers offense. You look at the tape last year and it was lots of rushing. So I'd have to look at this. I don't actually know, but I would assume they're still stacking the box, making it hard for them to run. So maybe that'll even out later on once there's like 4 weeks of tape on what they're doing. But yeah, I think Hampton will open up and it'll be fun. Got another couple running backs here. Travion Henderson, still having him in the fun category. I'm starting to get questionable on him, at least so far. Increased snap share and workload this week, though. 46% of snaps compared to 32 last week and 11 attempts compared to three. The downside is he only had 2.6 yards per carry on that. The upside is Ramondre fumbled twice, I think, and then Antonio Gibson also fumbled when they brought him in. So maybe they're going to lean on Henderson. And then we had Cam Skattebo, RB5 in week three, 10 carries for 60 yards and a score. And a big one here, 8 targets for 6 catches and 61 yards. And we just found out that Tyrone Trace is going to be out for a few weeks. So it looks good for Skattebo. I just traded him for Chris Olave
Live.
live. Yeah, hopefully I might make that the intro to the episode. So you might already heard me do that. But I that was kind of a situational thing. I think most people should hang on to Skattebo
Hmm.
because I think he is going to be solid. And I do think I am worried about the Giants offense going forward, and just being kind of rough and up and down. But he is the guy. He was already kind of taking over for Tracy.
Yeah, and he looked insane. Like I don't know, he's playing a different kind of football out there. Just kind of trying to crush through people instead of run around them. A lot of people are running, you know, away from
Hmm.
people slightly. He wasn't interested in that. And he looked actually really good in an open field receiving game, so that was intriguing too. Another element to his game. He always had that at ASU, but it was nice to see it
Yeah.
translate. He looked natural out there.
Yeah, that one's going to be an annoying one to watch still do well because that was my only share of Scattaboo. Is pretty sad for me. Maybe I'll try to get him in for the belt somehow. Probably can't, but you
Go
never
talk to
know.
Ian, man. Talk to Ian.
Yeah, who knows? Any thoughts on Henderson though before I move on to some wide receivers?
I do think there's a lot of potential with Henderson. As you mentioned, let's see, Stevenson had two fumbles, Gibson had a fumble, and Drake May also had a fumble. So
Damn.
they're anyone who touches the ball without catching it first is struggling in a big way. And Henderson, I think that we've heard it in the offseason like a billion times. He's a great pass protector and he is an explosive player with the nice vision and good patience. So I don't think there's anything holding him back at this point. Ramondre is a great running back, but if this ball security issues is going to hamstring the whole team, I mean, that fumble on the goal line was just like the saddest thing I saw
Mm,
on Sunday. And it was like, it was crushing. Trying to cheer for Ramondre, trying to keep hope alive, but he basically gave up the game for the team at that point. So um,
yeah,
go with
that's tough.
Henderson. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you at least got to give him a shot to
Yeah.
not fuck the game away, I guess. All right, move on to some wide receivers here. I like Io Manor continues to look good. Over 70% snap shares in all of his games through 3 weeks, 18 targets, scored another touchdown. Hasn't been hyper efficient, which is a little sad. 10 catches for 107 yards on those 18 targets. So hopefully that efficiency and routes would kind of increase. It's not horrible, but you just want to see a little more. But he's clearly a guy that Cam Ward likes, so I like seeing that. And then Torrey Horton, my boy looking good. Two touchdowns last week, one receiving, one punt return, showing off his explosiveness. That's a touchdown in back-to-back games for him, and he's got a really easy matchup stretch coming up. And I'm annoyed. This is a sign that I might be in too many leagues because I did not pick him up in one of our dynasty leagues, even though I've talked about him this much, because I literally did not notice that he was on the waiver wire. So I'm annoyed about that. Quaid, I doubt you listen, but good job. If you do, I'm very sad to not have him in more places, but I am glad that I have him in for the belt.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of tearing it up. That's a big role. That offense in general is moving a lot better than I anticipated it.
Hmm.
Um, but when you talk about Alec Io Manor, the guy he's really doing some interesting things. He's got two red zone touchdowns this year, so he's trusted in the red zone by Cam Ward. Calvin Ridley only has one red zone target
Mm.
compared to the two rookies who combined for eight on that team.
Wow.
So it's kind of a weird thing that Tyler Lockett has zero, Okonkwo has none. They're really leaning on the rookies when in the moments that matter, and Io Manor's coming through. So I think that like there's going to be that just constant and kind of building throughout the season. So he's a player that's looking good, but he's not like tearing it up like Torrey Horton is doing it across the entire field, really just
Hmm.
looking like a natural out there. So that's exciting.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It is interesting to see how fast Iron Manor has got on. I mean, we saw it coming. Obviously,
Sure.
if you listen to our
Psyched ourselves
tournament,
out.
yeah, we do that every year. It's we got to stop doing that so much. But yeah, Torrey Horton just he looks great out there. Gonna talk about two NFC North wide receivers real quick. We got Luther Burden caught a 65-yard flea flicker touchdown, along with like another pretty decent little 30-yard gain for three catches, three receptions, 101 yards, and a score. That was his first time really doing anything. His previous two games, he had two receptions and 2 yards total. So not great, but it was good to see him kind of burst out of there. Want to see more volume, but still not mad. Matthew Golden, I still have him in the fun category. He's been a little frustrating, but he did score his most points this week in PPR. He's still getting open a lot. He was this week. The game got away from Green Bay. They could not move the ball. They let Jordan Love get sacked the most times he's ever been sacked, and just looked inept. And then apparently balance got away from Matthew Golden. I don't know if you saw this long, like 30-yard pass that he caught. We finally saw him kind of burn the defense, and he caught one and then like stumbled out of bounds. Felt like
Hmm.
he could have run it into the end zone, and like he stumbled like 5 yards out of bounds. Like it felt like he should have been able
Oh
to.
no.
He should have been. I don't know. I was watching it and was literally like, "What the hell was that? Like, why did you?" It definitely felt like he could have saved himself. I'm chalking it up to like a rookie mistake, which seems weird because it's the field's the same length in college. I don't know, but maybe he just didn't know where he was or something. But definitely looked like it could have been a touchdown, could have changed that game. But still, four catches on four targets for 52 yards is a pretty decent little day. And they, like I said, he's still getting open. They still clearly want to use him. Volume might be an issue for him too, though, going through the season.
Yeah, it's maddening to trace through the Packers wide receiver room. It's just not really fun to pay attention to. And I will say that Matthew Golden is not one of the seven Packers with the red zone target.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's kind of strange. But like I said, man, you got a better chance at picking the winning Powerball than you do at picking the leading Green Bay receiver. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe he stepped on a tack on that play right there, but that's rough. You'd like to see it, long run for a touchdown,
Oh, I would have
first round
lost it.
draft pick. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what you want to see. This is what you're expecting, especially the way these guys come on these days. So it does
Yeah.
feel like we're waiting, like tapping our foot, seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I think it will happen. I think he's going to get one of these. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, he could have had a couple against Washington, and
Mhm.
then that one should have gone for at least more yards than it did. But I don't know. I still think he looks good. Just we're building some time. He's got to take advantage of the opportunities he does get. Talking about the lack of targets. Real quickly, Aronde Gadsden the third is in the fun category. He finally played a game. Only 25% snap share, but in that 25%, he had 7 targets,
Mhm.
which is pretty astounding. That should mean I'd have to go look at it, but he basically got targeted almost every time he was on the field, I imagine, um, or at least on the field in passing plays. So that was fun to see. And then quickly on the two quarterbacks, Cam Ward's had a tough schedule, not a lot to work with. 5.1 yards per attempt and a 54% completion. I still think he looks fun. He's got the arm talent. We'll see where he goes. And I fucking called it. Jackson Dart starting this week. Bye bye Russ Bus. We'll see how that goes, but just throwing that out there quickly because that'll be at least fun to keep your eye on.
Yeah, that was one of my assumptions for
Okay.
the that was my assumption gone wrong, assumption gone right for you, Jackson Dart. Says you that's like Christian predicted he was all over it. So
Yeah.
that
It
was
felt like it was
silly.
coming.
They had such a brutal schedule. I give it to Russ, man. I don't care what anyone else says. That guy was he was making it fun.
He was trying, yeah.
It's nuts, dude. I don't want to see what happens to the wide receiver statistics over the next couple weeks. Is check down city instead of moonball heaven. So that's all good. That's all good. Um, but yeah, it would be nice to see what Cam Ward can do. I have confidence.
Mm,
That team wasn't supposed to be good, and he's struggling. But I think he'll come out of it. I've faith in him.
yeah.
Meh.
All right, getting into the questions. I got 3 running backs in the question category, so I'll just breeze through them real quick. Ashton Genty, again, teams are all over him. He looks like he does not have much room to go at all. 47 attempts for 144 yards. That's 3.1 a carry. Not what you want to see at a Genty, but I'm not losing faith just yet. I still think he's making people miss and running people over on a weekly basis. Ollie Gordon's interesting to me. He did score, but he only played 25% of snaps. I really am intrigued by him towards the end of the year. The Dolphins have a nice schedule on paper to end the year, and I could see them maybe leaning into more of the bruising rookie. So we'll see. Bashul Tootin, his snap share is abysmal, 17% this week. After getting rid of Tank Bigsby, that's weird. He takes advantage. He has been putting it on the field, but I'm just questioning like why he's not getting more snaps or how many he's going to get by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that one's hard to predict. As far as Ollie Gordon, that was an interesting game because if you watched it, you would have been shocked to see how few yards he had.
Hmm.
Because he really did look good. I get that he'll just get worked in more as it goes. And then Genty, like I just think you just have to just give it some time. Give it some time. There's no way this guy's gonna fall flat, right? Right?
Hope not.
Right? Right?
I
Like
I passed on a lot of juicy trades offers for him to fall through. That would suck.
yeah.
Uh, all right, disappointing category. We've got RJ Harvey, less than 30% snap shares in 2 of the 3 weeks he's played, only 2 attempts last week. And then Caleb Johnson, basically a healthy scratch. That's not what you want to see out of those 2 running backs, especially not if you're named Christian Glover and counted on Caleb Johnson to start this year.
Lucky for me, it's not my name. But no, I've got them in places. It's been just silly. I hate it. I can't really say too much. I had my skepticism about him in the film review, but I was just kind of like, this can't be, like there's more to it. Um, I think it's just, gosh, there's no way, right? There's no way. This guy's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. It's just
Well,
gonna
he
take
hasn't got much
some time.
opportunity to try either, which some of that is coaching, other of that is dunderheaded moves by him. Oh, and
Yeah.
also
And
another,
then
go ahead.
he's playing with Aaron Rodgers, so
Yeah,
there's like not a more critical person to stand next to in a
true,
backfield
true.
pre-snap. So
Oh, and Dylan Sampson, sorry, another running back, only 8% snap share this week, and you commented on it. Judkins is the guy there. Moving on to tight ends, Elijah Arroyo. That's tough for me. 4 targets through 2 weeks, 40% snap share. Um, whoop, those are last week's notes. He got hurt this week as well. He is practicing, I believe, but kind of just not much going on with Arroyo, which is sad to see. And then Colston Loveland, 10% snaps, 3 targets, 1 catch, and 6 targets, 3 receptions, and 43 yards going through the year. So not great for those guys. Any comments there, or should I just move on to wide receivers?
yeah, I think you're good to move on.
Okay. Dante Thornton, 12 targets through 3 weeks, only 5 receptions. Don't love that. I
No.
moved Travis Hunter into the disappointing area. I think it's time.
Yeah.
16 targets through 3 weeks, but only 10 receptions. But the main thing is it's 10 at 7.6 yards per reception. So it's almost like they're just manufacturing him ways to get the ball. And this was a guy that the GM of the Jaguars said was going to transcend and remake football with how they were going to use him. And he just kind of looks like a passable wide receiver too at this point.
Imagine that.
Uh,
Uh,
Go ahead.
nothing nice to say at this point. Wait till he proves it.
Yeah, fair enough. And then 3 guys that we liked quite a bit that just haven't really done much. Jack Bash, 2 targets, 2 reception, 33 yards. Not great. Kyle Williams, 2 targets through 2 weeks for 20 yards. And Jaden Higgins has 5 targets, most yardage out of any of these guys, 4 receptions, 65 yards, but still guys we thought might pop a little faster than they are.
Yeah, Higgins is a heartbreaker. Like he should be something right now, but he's not necessarily alone. Finally, things are pumping for Nico Collins, but
Mm,
really the Texans as a whole are just kind of
yeah,
stuck in the mud right now. So, he's not getting a ton of work his way, and I don't think that he would be able to he's not going to put the team on his back, right? So
yeah,
they just got to get in the swing of things. They have a pretty soft schedule right now, but if you can't do it to Jacksonville, then what are you going to do to anybody, really? So
yeah.
I don't know. This is kind of a rough spot. The Kyle Williams stuff, just I don't want to cry live on air, so just gonna let it be for now, I think.
Fair enough. Well, that is your rookie talk for this episode. So you want to get into assumptions.
Assumptions. Yeah, I've only got a few assumptions, and a couple of them have already been discussed a little bit. I'll
Okay.
start with the assumption that Jackson Dart wouldn't be the starter by week 4. That was my assumption. Your assumption was that it was all but in stone, and it looks like you were correct. But the thing I have to say about this is you've got Wan'Dale Robinson,
Hmm.
whose yards per reception are 14.9. You got Darius Slayton, 15.2, and you've got Malik Neighbors, sorry, who's 15.7. And there's no way those numbers are staying like that.
Yeah.
So I think like fantasy wise, this is gonna be kind of a bummer. Like I know Neighbors just came off of a slower week, but he's got 250 yards on the year. That's decent. He's holding his reputation down as a pretty badass wide receiver. And I just don't see, you get Dart in there, you get Scatterboo in there, and I think that things slow down for the Giants. I think it gets a little more conservative and a little less exciting. So I don't know exactly how that's going to translate for the team as a whole, but yes, an assumption was made, and look at you go. You totally nailed it.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
dog.
you're
Thanks for the
you're
shout out.
you're great.
I
Um,
I could see that being the case, what you're saying though early on. I do think Dart has a little bit of friskiness to him too, maybe. And then Daboll's also going to want to save his job. So we'll see how it goes. I definitely think early on it's going to be very conservative and like, let's just see what he's got. But I do think if he does okay, they'll open it up a little bit. But we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, they always talk about the Jets and that being a tough market and all that, but they don't really talk about the Giants like that. But
Mm,
Jackson Dart looked a little timid in the snaps that he was getting, personal opinion. So we'll see. We'll see
okay.
how, but that was his thing. Like he was always pretty secure and pretty confident with Ole Miss, and he wasn't easily phased. So if he can unlock that, I just don't know. You send him in for a couple of plays, designed runs, and stuff like that, and I could see how he'd be a little weird. So we'll see what he looks like with a full game setup. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I had assumed a little bit that Dalton Kincaid was not going to be a good football player.
Mm,
He had that good rookie year, and then his catch rate for year two went way down and got injured. But through 3 weeks, he is already tied with his previous 2 years touchdown totals of two, and he's sitting at the tight end six. And it seems like this wide receiver room isn't really giving him a ton of competition. So I think that Dalton Kincaid has a lot of potential to hold down a top five potential as a tight end. I don't know how you feel about it. There's a lot of assumptions with Buffalo. Like I assume that James Cook was a fluky high touchdown total last year, and
mm.
he's just like, no, that's not the case. Watch this. He's
Yeah.
just doing it in and out right now. So those two guys seem to be this offense. Obviously you got Captain Allen in there, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty impressed with what Kincaid's doing, and I was definitely wrong on the predictions for this year.
Yeah, so far, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, he's still, yeah, he's looked good, and I do see his name popping up all the time. So it's hard to argue with production. And maybe it's just the year three leap for tight ends. I'm with you. I actually did also have James Cook on
Okay.
my assumptions, the assuming that he scored too many touchdowns last year, and
Yes.
now he just has four through 3 weeks. So yeah,
Insane.
hard to argue with that.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. It's insane to me that this team has like 12 total touchdowns right now. I don't even want to
Yeah.
think about how that compares to the rest of the league, but they're doing very well. Okay, this one is, interesting for me. But I assumed that Trey Tucker
Mm,
would be beat out of the rotation as Jack Besh and Thornton took
yeah.
over behind Myers. Now, Tucker trails Meyer and Bowers in targets. It's 26, 21 to 20. That's total targets on the year. Um, but yeah, he has every single receiving touchdown for the Raiders, uh, which is four of
That's
their
absurd.
five total touchdowns,
Yeah.
which is where it gets funny when you look at Buffalo's 12. Um, but yeah, he is the 18th overall PPR scoring player among
That's
all
crazy.
positions through 3 weeks. So
Wild.
my bad. Three touchdowns will do that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was one massive week and then a decent other week and then a quiet one. But yeah, it's been crazy. He was one of the waiver wire hot ads of the week for sure.
Big time. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of that. I mean,
Okay.
assuming that players would stay healthy was obviously a mistake, but
Yeah, always is.
yeah, I think that we'll have a next man up review coming in the near future to see how some of these unexpected starters ended up doing. So
Yeah. That'll be fun. Well, not fun, but interesting at least. Okay, I got some assumptions real quick.
Yeah.
Assuming Matthew Stafford was going to crush it despite the injury because he had Puka and Devontae.
No,
Um,
dude.
he's had hard matchups, but 20th in points per game is rough. And, it's 3 weeks in, so we'll see if he goes up. But just you expected, I would have expected more out of a guy that has two really awesome wide receivers. Assuming it was safe to take a victory lap in week one because Brees Hall had a good week. He's the RB 25 right now, under 10 points in back-to-back weeks. If you pop the hood, he's got decent stats, 4.1 yards per carry, 13 targets, but no scores. And he only had 10 and 9 rushing attempts the past 2 weeks, so don't love that. Um,
Yeah.
Assuming Justin Jefferson was QB proof, at least in terms of top five wide receiver. 20 targets, 12 receptions, 200 yards, and one score. I'm not worried long term, but he's sitting pretty far down on the wide receiver poll right now. And assuming that Quentin Johnston was a wasted pick both for the Chargers and in fantasy, 24 targets, 14 receptions, 239 yards, and three touchdowns. That's more targets than Lad McConkey, Kill Me, and then only four less than Keenan Allen. So,
Yeah, I've got that as a disappointment for Ladd, coming in with the
yeah.
21 targets compared to Johnston's 24 and Keenan Allen's 28. And another thing that makes that even more of a bummer for Ladd is that Allen and Johnston both have 5 red zone targets compared to
Mm,
just one for Ladd, which is half as many as Aronde Gadsden,
jeez.
who, as you said, has only played 25% of snaps in a single game.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's for sure, for sure a bummer. There, damn, I had some notes on your other assumptions, but they escaped me. Um,
Stafford?
yeah, so Stafford, that one really started blowing my mind. Watching them play in the red zone is killing me, because they're not thrown to Puka. And this is kind of like why I'm pretty heavy on the red zone targets tonight. But the reason I wanted to do that was because they're force feeding Devontae Adams. He has 8 red zone targets. Puka only has one, and there's only two people with 8, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown and Devontae Adams. The difference is Amon-Ra has caught 6 of those for 4 touchdowns, where Devontae Adams has only caught one. So Stafford is not being successful in the red zone throwing to Adams, and it's really painful to watch. And I have to imagine that they can't just keep that up. They're going to have to pivot. Puka's awesome. They've got to find a way to get someone else the ball because Adams is great, but like if it's not working, man, let's just take a
Try
breath
something
and try
else.
something different. Yeah,
That's fair.
because it's not necessarily worth it.
I get why they're trying to do it. That was kind of where Devontae made all of his money
Hmm.
throughout his career. He's just an insane red zone weapon. But yeah, like you're saying, you have Puka. If it's not working, at least diversify it. Like make it harder to predict, I guess.
Yeah, there's 3 tight ends on here with as many or more red zone targets. Four tight ends on here with as many or more red zone targets as Puka Nakoa. So
That's
it's
crazy.
it's kind of silly, like let's
Yeah.
just circle
Absolutely.
back. Not that it's slowing Puka down, but
Yeah.
it seems like a foolish kind of thing. Let him make things happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any thoughts on Brees Hall or JJ?
With the Brees thing, I will say that you did say silence the haters on the Braylon Allen thing, and his lack of success has not come from a threatening uh, role or success of Braylon Allen. So there is that. I mean, a garbage dumpster fire, ready to go. He was about the only hope there, and Garrett Wilson's still showing out.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't
Garrett
know what it
Wilson's a
is,
thug.
but we want to see Brees Hall turn it up. Get himself a little little Jonathan Taylor-esque redemption game here somewhere.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. Well, you want to move on to some disappointments to close out the night?
Of course, man. Disappointments are the name of my game. We tickled on a few of them. Um, I'll say that, okay, we got Lad in there. We talked about DJ Moore briefly. I wanted to say that he's tied with Olamide Zaccheaus who had 16 targets. And he, as well as Burden, scored this first touchdown in week 3. Um, I just think, like, I'm disappointed in DJ Moore. We knew Rome Odunze was going to come in hot, but
Hey,
I didn't think like DJ Moore was going to get iced out like equal with Olamide. And now that Burden, who you're right, 65-yard touchdown, but also had two other catches to get around 40 yards between those two. The dude's got to be heating up. It's got to be something that you want. We've seen him in like some weird goal line stuff where he's in the backfield. So he's in the playbook and he's going to start being on the field in a big way. And I think it's going to come down to DJ Moore losing out even further. So he's not really a leader on this team as far as that offense goes at the moment. And so I find that to be a little disappointing.
yeah. No, absolutely. I would have thought, I mean, they did just thump the Cowboys, so maybe that was their offensive awakening. I think they've been a little out of structure so far, but it is weird to see him. I mean, I love that Rome is crushing it. I was a big Rome guy. So that's nice to see. But yeah, DJ Moore falling off that quickly is kind of odd.
Definitely. This one really hurts me personally. I'm not going to change jerseys in mid-episode, though I could. Um, Alvin Kamara only
Hey,
has 10 targets.
that's crazy. I have Alvin Kamara on mine as well.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll just dust it here and then I'll step aside. But right now he's on pace for only like 55 targets for season long. And over the last 3 years, he's averaged about 84.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot of us thought like no matter what happens with the Saints, Alvin Kamara will always Alvin Kamara. He's seen some sketchy offensive, configurations and he's always managed. So kind of a downer, a little bit of a disappointment that
Yeah.
I'm sure you could add to that.
Oh, I mean, you pretty much crushed it. I mean, that why with a guy named Spencer Rattler, are you not targeting the running back more? That seems like a very easy safety valve for a guy that knows how to play that game. He's the RB 22 on the year right now. Just honestly, just trade him. Trade him, Saints. Like, we don't need to see his career fizzle out this way. Send him to a contender. Not even a high-end contender. I know the Cardinals just lost a running back. They could use one.
Boom.
That would be fun. At least a
That'd be
little more
amazing.
interesting. So just do it, Saints. Also, then we could see Kendra Miller get on the field. I feel like it's gonna happen at some point. It seems odd if it wouldn't. But that's basically my disappointment is that Kamara is still on the Saints and not a more relevant team.
Yeah, it's end of its prime, it would seem, and so to let it go to waste is definitely sad. But yeah, obviously you've mentioned the Cardinals. I'm wearing the James Conner
Mm-hmm.
white number 6 here, and I'm so disappointed that he's injured now. I've been
Mm-hmm.
enjoying that resurgence, that kind of that prime he's been in. So I guess that's disappointing to me, but I wanted to talk mostly about what it means for this team, especially what it means for Kyler, and talk a little bit about rushing quarterbacks. So Kyler is one of 4 quarterbacks with 20 or more rush attempts so far this season. Um, and I think that like he's just going to go ahead and have to step up in that category. This offense, I think it's going to get a lot smaller. Obviously, McBride's going to do good things. We've been seeing good stuff out of Harrison. I do think Kyler steps up in the running game. Trey Benson is there, but I think he's not going to, I don't think he's going to come out and blow us away. I think he's just going to be a serviceable guy. But I really wanted to think about the other guys that are they're rushing quarterbacks right now, I'm a little disappointed so far in the lack of like dual threat presence.
Mm.
Because we're looking at Kyler with 20 carries. Drake May is on this list, 21 carries. And we've talked about, everybody else on that team, including himself, um, fumbling the ball. He's got two fumbles this year, of the team's five. So we'll see him maybe get a little more rushing action now that Ramondre is getting put back on ice. But I really think that that team's going to pivot to the passing game because it's going better than anticipated. Maybe get some Keyshawn Boutte in the
Hey,
house.
some
Yeah.
booty. Booty in the house.
Boutte.
Always
Woo,
nice.
woo, woo. Smack it, smack it. But the other two guys are Josh Allen and
Mm.
Jalen Hurts. So obviously we know what's happening with those guys. But a disappointing question mark, missing name is Lamar Jackson.
Mm.
He's only got 15 rush attempts this year.
Seems
And
odd.
yeah, it is odd, but the guy has reinvented himself because he's currently on pace to throw 48 touchdowns this season.
Jesus.
Yeah, insane, dude. Um, I don't even know what to think. Obviously, it was crazy to see Mark Andrews catch two touchdowns. We've seen Tylan Wallace in there and Devontae Walker, and freaking Rashad Bateman caught a touchdown.
Hmm.
He's just like, hey, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. He's going Winfrey on these touchdowns, and it's pretty awesome. But I think, hey, I said Jalen Hurts. I'm talking disappointing. The dude is on pace to throw only 16, 17 touchdowns this season. He had zero passing touchdowns through the first 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
all three of his this season came this past weekend. So I don't know if Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he's doing great things as a rushing quarterback, and they're winning games as ugly as it might be. But I think it's really leaning on the defense, and I think if he can't get some passing touchdowns to happen, it's going to be kind of a disappointing fantasy outlook for
Mm.
that team in general. But it was good to see AJ Brown get off the ground. Dallas Goedert caught a touchdown. Smith got in there too. So it's starting to pep up a little bit, but a little bit disappointing. But that's kind of it on my disappointment list. You got extra
Okay.
disappointing things going
Uh,
on in your
yeah,
list?
I can kind of continue that QB talk. I mean, I'm with you on the guys you highlighted as being disappointing. I mean, I finally got Josh Allen in a league, and of course, he's being like great, but not as good as he has been.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna talk. Yeah, the Jalen Hurts stuff is funny to me. I mean, it seemed like they kicked it on when they needed to, and he did well. So it's hard to
Yeah,
argue, I
it's
suppose. But like, what are we doing? Also, his rushing touchdowns are whack. Um, but I'm gonna talk about three quarterbacks briefly on two, and more really on another. Just that I've been disappointed in. Michael Penix Jr. was one. I
oh,
mean, he got benched for Kirk Cousins this week. Obviously, Raheem Morris was very adamant that that was not for the future, just for that game. The game got away from them, but like that was against the Panthers,
yeah, dude.
which is crazy. Like, come on, what are we doing? Which is also ruining Drake London, so I hate that. CJ Stroud also just like has not looked like the guy we saw his rookie year. But Bryce Young is the guy I really want to highlight. I mean, he's the QB 19 right now, and I really thought he was going to take the next step. Last year, over the final 3 weeks of the season, Bryce Young was the QB 2 in points per game. Which I know that's a small sample size. If you cut it back even one more week, he's still the QB six in terms of points per game. Actually, if you cut it back another week, so if you, through the final 5 games of the season, he was the QB six in points per game. Um, so I just thought that he was going to take a next step, and it more seems like he regressed. But they did just put a whooping on the Falcons, so who knows? Speaking of the Falcons, Kyle Pitts continues to disappoint.
Shit.
Um, and then Josh Jacobs has been a little frustrating. RB 19 on the year, 3.1 yards per carry. That offense just had, I mean, our O-line, you saw the issues against Cleveland. I mean, they had a million sacks, it felt like. And so it's been tough for him to get sledding, but it was bad. I mean, he was super touchdown dependent, and then he didn't score this week. So not great there. Um, any, I'll pause for a second and then I'll get into my last one. If you have anything you wanted to comment there. No?
No, with Penix, it really seems like it's hot and cold. Like that, he has moments where it's really on. That week one, he kind of put it all on the line, and then they came out week two, and they're like, "No, we're gonna run the ball." And then like week three, yeah, you get dusted around by the Panthers. It's kind of sad, but I like, like the coach said, Kirk Cousins was only in there to, finish the game more or less. So I think there's some hope there, but like you're saying, not getting the support from the receivers, it's not gelling yet. So that is the only one I'm optimistic about. The rest of them are kind of dumpster fires, especially CJ Stroud is killing me.
Yeah, it's been really bad, not fun to watch the downfall of Stroud, but hopefully they'll turn it around. All right, so my final disappointment is just I'm going to throw out some old head wide receiver names that are doing poorly. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver 58. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 56.
Ouch.
Jerry Judy, wide receiver 61. T. Higgins tied right there with him. And Josh Downs, younger than all these other guys, but the wide receiver 68. So some not rookie, not younger guys that I was excited about this season that have not been popping. Just throwing all those names out there.
Yeah, a lot of those are disappointing, especially Diggs. Statistically, he was on one
Mm,
with Houston last year, and so personally, I wanted to count on him to keep that rolling. But it seems like, almost like they don't need him as much as we thought they might.
yeah.
They've just made things happen. Hunter Henry is just stepping up in a big way, so. That bums me out, but yeah, the whole list, the whole lineup of aging guys, freaking Terry McLaurin finds himself on this list, just kills me.
Yeah.
This keeps happening, you miss the off season and you can't just turn it on, I know obviously he deserved to be compensated, but yeah,
It's a
it
tough look.
yeah, you just can't overnight success that kind of stuff. So hopefully he can get it squared away. And with Daniels missing time, there's some correlation there, but he needs to get out there and just start clicking again. Especially by week 10, dude. Monday Night Football. I'm not trying to show up this game and not watch my dude Terry.
Yeah, that would be bad. But yeah, obviously it's early, so these guys could still turn it around, but it has been disappointing so far. Well, there you have it. There is our week three review. Like we said, we're gonna get into some different kind of content coming up soon. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
I took a lease out on